On the massive outrage that each one of us across the country are feeling today, with the sorry condition breakdown of law and order to protect women and young girls of our country. On one end, there are powerful politicians. They're accused of heinous crimes. They're accused of supporting the alleged rapists as well, and yet going away scot-free. On the other end, a shameful communal color which is given to the unimaginable plight of a rape and murder of a victim. While we all talk about making the country a safer place for women, it is unfortunate here that you have families of the victims have a long road to justice ahead of them. The country is angry, they're demanding accountability, and this is part of our special campaign. Introducing to our viewers, to our executive editor, Faye D'Souza, with a string of correspondents getting in those responses from across the country. Over to you, Faye.
Thank you, Sahar. In fact, Sahar, you're absolutely right about the fact that India is completely outraged. It's been days since the entire nation's focus has been on these two cases, and yet somehow law and order has been dragging its feet. Even today, the CBI has only detained Kuldeep Singh Sehgal. He has not been arrested yet, and in Jammu, the communal spin of cow slaughter and religion and even Pakistan that has brought into play over the rape of this 8-year-old child, the murder of this 8-year-old child, is appalling and gut-wrenching. And it's embarrassing for the entire country. The fact that in both cases, the judiciary has had to step in, take suo motu cognizance and ask questions in order for any sort of justice to be served only goes to show that our law and order system, our police forces and our governments have any justice on their minds. Their job is to keep citizens safe, all citizens, irrespective of adult or child, woman or man. And it seems like in this particular case, women and children are the ones suffering. Let me go across to our reporters. Our reporters are standing by Richa and Azad Maidan, where there is a protest that will take place very shortly. Apurva also in Unnao, and Fareed, who's standing by in Srinagar. Our reporters are on the line right now. I'm going to go first to Fareed. Fareed, what is the progress right now on the case of this 8-year-old girl? Has there been any sort of movement from law and order machinery? What have you picked up on the ground?
Well, Faye, unfortunately, as you rightly said, politics has taken over this case from day one, and that too third-rate communal politics, people trying to play the communal card in this and have been successful to a large extent, initially scuttling the probe, but finally, since the government came to know about the gravity of the situation, they formed the crime branch, brought in some very good officers, finest officers from the state, and finally they did manage to really nail these accused. All of them were arrested, but then as we have been reporting on and off, and in fact from the last some days non-stop, about the fact that there are BJP leaders, sitting ministers who have been caught on camera ensuring that they provoke this mob, the Hindu Ekta Manch. I won't call them Hindu Ekta Manch because there are people across the country who are appalled by the fact that they're using the name Hindu to galvanize people to scuttle justice for a 7-year-old. So this is an Ekta Manch. I don't know what kind of Ekta Manch it is, but it was emboldened by the presence of BJP ministers. Two ministers, Chandra Prakash Ganga and Chaudhry Lal Singh, they have been caught on camera ensuring that they provoke. They have been questioning the integrity of their own police, and that has emboldened them. And after that, it was free for all. We saw how they went ahead bullying people, intimidating people into silence, be it stopping the police, the crime branch in the court, to intimidating the lawyer of the victim, who was on Mirror Now First. She narrated her horror tale, and they have ensured that a systematic campaign is launched on this. But now, since the country is united on this, there has been a massive outrage. Mehbooba Mufti has also been emboldened. She is now taking the right steps. She has made it clear that justice will be done. And tomorrow, Faye, very crucially, there is a meeting of the PDP. They want to put pressure on the BJP to remove these two ministers. So far, it has not happened. Unfortunately, BJP top brass is silent, but they'll have to do it. They'll have to understand that the mood of the nation is that there should be absolutely no leniency with these ministers. This should be the first step towards the larger goal of providing justice to this 8-year-old who has been used as a commodity. First, she was raped for a heinous conspiracy. She was killed for a heinous conspiracy to drive out her family, those nomads who have been living there for years and years now. And then, now, after her death, she was used for flaring up communal passions to get certain very cheap political goals, to achieve those goals by those people. And unfortunately, as I said, they were emboldened by people in the government who were siding with them in this heinous act.
There was also a case of one politician bringing in Pakistan and saying these were Pakistani elements that actually caused the rape and the murder of this child. Are the locals of Srinagar, the locals of Jammu and Kashmir outraged by this, even the suggestion of this at this point?
Absolutely, absolutely. In fact, you just look at the social media, that's an indicator of the outrage. People are absolutely fuming at the way a communal color has, the people have tried to give a communal color to a human issue, a basic issue of humanity that should be the first religion for everyone. Once they saw, we've seen a slow, painful, dead humanity dying in this case, and now they're up in arms. We have seen protests in Srinagar from the last many days. There could be some candlelight protests as well this evening. So people are showing the government what should be done, but unfortunately, so far it is landing on deaf ears. That too thick-skinned as of now, but the way the country has galvanized, the way they are standing behind the family and demanding justice, I'm sure that this is going to act, and BJP as a first will sack these ministers just to show that they really mean when they say Beti Bachao. Otherwise, it will seem more like Beti Ko Humse Bachao. So they'll have to do it, and we'll have to see what they do. But political opinion also is galvanizing. PDP is putting pressure. Next 1 or 2 days are crucial in the overall case of providing justice to this little poor girl and her family. Imagine they are still on the streets. They left their home. Such is the terror that was created by the people in that particular village. They're not still at their home. They're not taking calls. They're there somewhere in Udhampur, ensuring that they're away from the people who have been tormenting and terrorizing them for all, in fact, most part of the last 3 months.
Right. Farid, they're standing by in Srinagar, bringing us the latest on the case from Katwa of this 8-year-old child who was held hostage, who was starved, raped repeatedly by 4 men who took turns at her, and then finally murdered simply to prove a point that they didn't want her community to live in that place. Remember, she belongs to a group of nomads who graze horses, and they didn't want her community in their lands and in their village, and this is how they communicated that message. I want to also go across to our correspondent Apurva. Apurva, Sridhar is in Unnao, getting us the latest on the Unnao case, where the accused, we understand, is being detained by the CBI. Apurva, what's the latest right now? And we had a press conference earlier this morning. Any clarity here, any sort of indication that the government wants to perhaps now take this more seriously?
Well, at this point, we are standing outside the CBI headquarters here in Lucknow, where currently, over the past 9.5 hours, it's been 9.5 hours that the BJP MLA in question, which is Kuldeep Singh Sengar, has been detained. He was picked up from his residence here in Lucknow's Indira Nagar area at 4:30 a.m. by a team of CBI officials who picked him up and brought him to the CBI headquarters. Now, till that time, and since right till now, there has been no clarity on what is the arrest, what is the next course of process that is being followed. Is an arrest imminent at this point? There is no word coming on that, but clearly with an FIR that has already been filed by the CBI as well under various sections of the POCSO Act, which is inclusive of raping a minor as well as criminal intimidation, we can expect an arrest later in the day, and he could also be produced in court. But on these two issues, the CBI has not really come out and said anything. What we are given to understand at this point is the progress of the questioning that is taking place, on what lines the CBI is really questioning the BJP MLA. First and foremost, the CBI is trying to gather the call record details of the BJP MLA, which is going to be crucial in ascertaining a lot of loose gaps that is there in this case. Secondly, they're also trying to figure out to what extent or has he tried to influence the local police, the jail authorities, or even the medical department in this case. Remember, Faye, it was the SIT findings that had, in fact, 2 of the doctors were suspended, while 3 doctors against whom there were disciplinary proceedings that were initiated because they failed to give proper treatment to the victim's father. Another line of questioning that they're looking at is to what extent of political clout was being used to even threat and harass the family members at this point. At this point, they're also corroborating the statement that the victim has made under oath under section 164 of the CRPC, her medical report, as well as other details. But a bigger takeaway at this point, with over 9.5 hours of questioning, is that the BJP MLA's answer, according to sources in the CBI who have told Times Network, they have not found the BJP MLA's answer satisfactory. That is the big takeaway now that is coming in as far as this entire line of questioning is concerned for over 9.5 hours, which is still underway at this point. We are still outside the CBI headquarters here in Lucknow, waiting for some more clarity there coming in from the CBI as far as what is the next course of action. Can an arrest happen in this case today or not? Back to you.
Right. Of course, Apurva, the arrest not just can happen, it also must happen, because this is a case of POCSO. And the fact that the arrest has not happened yet is completely outrageous, because it's a gross miscarriage of justice that he should have been arrested. This is a non-bailable offence. The rape of a minor is a non-bailable offence, and the accused is arrested immediately, while even before the investigation is begun. Richa is standing by, and I want to take you viewers over to Azad Maidan, where we have seen the first of what I expect as several protests to begin. Fareed was telling us that it's likely in Srinagar as well that we might see candlelight marches. We saw Congress President Rahul Gandhi take out one candlelight march in Delhi last night, and now we're seeing some protests happen as well in Mumbai. Richa Sharma standing by in Azad Maidan. Richa, there are people around you, I can see. What is the message they want to send with this protest?
That's right, Faye. We are here at the Azad Maidan, and as you can see right behind me, there are these protests and slogans being heard of Murdabad, and they are in fact demanding justice for both the girls in Jammu and Kashmir as well as Uttar Pradesh. Let's try to talk to a few of these protesters and know what are they demanding. Ma'am, you tell us, what are you demanding at this point? Sir, आप बताइए आप क्या डिमांड कर रहे हैं?
हम लोग डिमांड कर रहे हैं, जिस तरह से कातिलों को और जो बलात्कारियों को मदद की जा रही है वो बिल्कुल गलत है। जिस तरह से जम्मू कश्मीर के बार एसोसिएशन के प्रेसिडेंट बोल रहे हैं कि हमारे हाथ में आज तिरंगा है, कल हमारे हाथ में वो उनका पता नहीं है कि AK-47 भी हो सकता है। तो ये सरकार को ललकार रहे हैं, तो ऐसी बर्दाश्त नहीं किया जाएगा। देश में डेमोक्रेसी जिंदा है अभी भी, और डेमोक्रेसी को मानने वाले लोग जिंदा हैं। वो एक खास उनकी विचारधारा है कि एक 8 साल की बच्ची का बलात्कार के बाद भी उनको अंदर इंसानियत नहीं है। बिल्कुल शर्मिंदगी की बात है।
Firoz, you tell us, we have gathered here, in fact, what are you expecting? What are you stating?
Can I come out?
Tell us, we have gathered here today, what are we demanding?
Can't hear you.
What are we demanding? What are you protesting for?
The demands are justice for both the rape victims and the murder, and we are demanding that the single issue as far as Yogi is concerned, that the government has to be very serious about ensuring that he's arrested, and the investigation that needs to go through, and that justice needs to be done for these 2 girls, basically.
So as you just heard, Faye, the protesters here, there is a lot of chaos that has been created by the protesters as well as the media persons. But the one demand that they are putting in forward for both the Unnao as well as the Kadua rape case is that they want justice for both the girls, and they don't want that such an incident should repeat itself in any part of the country moving forward.
All right, Richa. In fact, I think one of the things that was said by one of those protesters is something that we should all remember. Democracy is alive. And in a democracy, we are all equal, which means we all have equal rights, whether that is an 8-year-old girl who belongs to a family of nomads, someone who graces horses, or whether that's someone who lives in Unnao in Uttar Pradesh. We all have equal rights. We all have equal claims over the courts and over the IPC. So justice should be delivered to both of these girls. Junaid Mattu of the National Conference from Jammu and Kashmir joins me on the phone line right now. Mr. Mattu, thank you for joining us. Right now, obviously, there's a horrible tint of communal glaze that has been added to this case. The fact that it has become about cow slaughter, it's become about Pakistan, it's become about Hindus and Muslims, and the Tiranga being waved to protect perhaps rapists. How do we bring this back to normalcy where the focus is only this young girl and the fact that she deserves justice?
Well, Faye, I've always said this. I don't think this is about Hindu, Muslim, Kashmir or Jammu. This is about barbarism that has been, carried out, and this absolutely beastly, absolutely heinous crime that this young little child of 8-year-old had to go through. The fact of the matter is, I think the time has come that we need to ask ourselves, before we also ask the powers that be, that if rapists are rallying around the national tricolour, if the pitch of nationalism, if that all too familiar paranoia of Pakistan is being used to shield rapists and murderers, where have we brought this country? What is this narrative? Is this the idea of India that anybody identifies with? How can rapists be nationalists? How can we come out on the roads to protect those demons who abducted, planned, this whole crime, raped and murdered an 8-year-old child in a temple? This is a question that we need to ask. The sad part is that people have remained silent on this in the power corridors. I wish the Prime Minister had spoken about this. I wish he had restrained his ministers in Jammu from going and participating in the rallies that were taken out to shield the culprits, but that didn't happen. It is a sad day. It is sad. It is sad for me. Let's forget that I'm a politician. As a citizen of Jammu and Kashmir, as a citizen of India, this is a sad day for me that there are 2 ministers in the cabinet of my government who openly rallied for rapists and murderers, and no action was taken against them. So, this whole obfuscation has resulted in a narrative where we are not talking about the child, where we are not talking about her family, where we are not talking about the ordeal that they have gone through and they are going through. As somebody rightly said, that these rallies are worse than the rape. So this kind of harassment, this humiliation, this intimidation of a bereaving family is going on in perpetuity, and people who can stop it are not coming forward to stop it.
In fact, Mr. Mattu, the people who can stop it have been waving the national flag and standing in the way of the police when the police went to file their challan, and that was the most disturbing part. That was the breaking point really on this particular case, where the Bar Association of Jammu prevented the police from filing their challan and moving forward with the investigation, while they demanded that these rapists of this 8-year-old child be let go of. Our correspondent on the ground, Pradeep Datta, has even in fact just spoken with the family of this young girl. And I want you to listen to this entire interaction, because it will give you an idea of how terrible things are on the ground and how we have failed as a country to actually provide justice to this family.
Ever since this barbaric and brutal incident have taken place, the family members of 8-year-old girl who was raped and murdered are living under constant fear. Normally they move towards upper reaches, but this time they started early. They abandoned their hearth and home. We have with us mother, sister and uncle of 8-year-old girl. Let's speak to them. आप बताएंगे कि हुआ क्या था ये सारा, और क्या इस समय मुश्किल कितनी आ रही है, कितना डर का माहौल है?
सबसे पहले है कि जिस तरह हमारी बड़ी बच्ची किडनैप हुई है, उसके बाद उसकी लाश मिली थी। फिर उसके बाद हमको पता लगा था कि वहाँ के रसाना गांव के कोई लोग हैं, उन्होंने कत्ल किया, रेप किया और उसके बाद उनका कत्ल कर दिया। फिर उसके बाद हमने सरकार से अपील की थी कि उनके कातलों को पकड़ा जाए। जब उन्होंने कातिल तो पकड़ने के बजाय उन्होंने एक लड़का नाबालिग पेश किया गया। फिर उसके बाद जब उन्होंने रैली निकाली, काफ़ी रैली में लेडीज लोग थी और तिरंगा लेकर रैली निकाली, तो फिर हमको ऐसे लगा कि हमारी दूसरी बेटी भी मर चुकी है। उसके बाद हमने
तो ये सियासत चल रही है इस पे, तो आपको कभी जो अभी क्राइम ब्रांच की रिपोर्ट आई है जो इस पे सियासत हो रही है, उस पे क्या कहना है आपका?
मैं तो ये कहता हूँ कि जो बीजेपी के कहने का मतलब कि आज जब हमारे नरेंद्र मोदी जी ने बोला था बेटी बचाओ बेटी पढ़ाओ, और ये ऐसी बेटियां कैसी बचा रहे हैं और पढ़ा रहे हैं, और साथ में उनके जो मिनिस्टर हैं चौधरी लाल सिंह साहब और वगैरह जो भी मिनिस्टर हैं वो सपोर्ट कर रहे हैं कि इस रेप और मर्डर के उन कातलों का उनको सपोर्ट कर रहे हैं, उनको बोल रहे हैं ये निर्दोष इनको छोड़ा जाए, आसिफा का जस्ट उसको इंसाफ नहीं मिल रहे, और साथ में ये सपोर्ट हमसे ज्यादा ये है कि लाल सिंह ने हमारे साथ बुरा कर रहे हैं, ये उनको सपोर्ट कर रहे हैं।
क्या कर रहे हैं बीजेपी के मिनिस्टर? कोई प्रेशर आप पे कोई बिल्ड?
प्रेशर हमको यही कह रहे हैं कि नहीं ये गलत कर रहे हैं, हम बच्ची हमारी गरीब थी उसको क्या है मार दिया तो मार दिया, कुछ नहीं होगा, जो उनके पकड़े गए हैं उनको छुड़ाना चाहिए, उनको छोड़ना चाहिए, और उनकी सपोर्ट कर रहे हैं। ये सारा दुनिया को पता है कि हमारी बच्ची के साथ बहुत गलत हुआ है, रेप हुआ, उसको काफ़ी दरिंदगी के साथ उसका कत्ल किया गया, फिर ये जानते हुए पूरा हिंदुस्तान जानता हुआ फिर उसके बाद उन्होंने क्या किया कि उसको सपोर्ट कर रहे हैं उन लोगों को, जैसे कि वो कोई एसपी दीपक खजूरिया है, जैसे उनका बहुत बड़ा है, उन्होंने दरिंदगी की, उन्होंने मारा, उसको सजा मिल जाए। बच्ची हर किसी की एक होती है, हम नहीं कहते कि बच्ची हमारी है, बच्ची सब हिंदू मुस्लिम सिख ईसाई बच्ची होती है, उसको किसी जाति या किसी बिरादरी से नहीं देखा जाए। और
they are quite angry and agitated. They feel that why certain people are trying to criminalize and politicize the atmosphere. She is not only daughter of this family, but she is the daughter of country. So why the people are not raising voice, and they are really concerned. They want to ask Prime Minister Narendra Modi, because often you keep on giving slogans like "Beti Padhao, Beti Bachao." These slogans seems to be hollow, because here in this case they are saying that some of the BJP ministers, they are participating in rally and they are trying to support all those people who are responsible for this act. We have with us sister of that 8-year-old victim also. Let's speak to her. बेटा कितना डर है आपको उस हादसे के बाद?
बहुत डर है हमको, बहुत डर है, उन्हें अकेला जाने के लिए बहुत डर है, इतना डर लगता है हमको, डर लगता है।
आप क्या चाहते हैं? इंसाफ क्या चाहते हैं?
हम इंसाफ चाहते हैं, फांसी दे दो बस, हमको कुछ नहीं चाहिए, और हमको फांसी चाहने के लिए।
कुछ लोग जो सियासत कर रहे हैं उस पे क्या आपको लगता है?
हमको कुछ नहीं लग रहा, हमको फांसी आर्डर चाहिए बस, हमको कुछ नहीं हो चाहिए।
See, for them the justice, they want that there should be there should be an exemplary punishment for all those people who are responsible for this act. हाँ, आप कुछ कह रहे थे, क्या कहना चाहते हैं आप?
हम इंसाफ चाहते हैं बस, हम जी चाहते हैं।
We have with us a mother also. क्या इंसाफ चाहते हैं?
फांसी आर्डर, जिस तरह हमारा बच्ची मारा इस तरह उनको भी मारो, हाँ बस यही आर्डर है हमका, मारा और कोई आर्डर नहीं।
कुछ लोग जैसे कह रहे हैं कि क्राइम ब्रांच की रिपोर्ट आई है, वो कहते हैं कि इसके बदले सीबीआई इंक्वायरी होनी चाहिए। आप माँ होने के नाते क्या चाहती हैं?
बस हम यही चाहते हैं, हम यही चाहते हैं इंसाफ, बस जिस तरह हमारी लड़की के साथ हुआ इस तरह उनके साथ होना चाहिए।
कितना डर का माहौल है उसके बाद से, क्योंकि आपकी बाकी बच्चियां भी हैं?
बहुत डर रहा, हमको ओशनी को जाने का नहीं, उधर नहीं गल करने का, बात करने का, हम बहुत डर रहा।
See, there is a lot of fear among the people. They are saying that the only justice for them is there should be a kind of an exemplar. We have with us aunt of that girl also. कितना मैं समझ सकता हूँ कि कितना मुश्किल है आप लोगों के साथ जो
मुश्किल है। हमारे देख हम कैसे दिन गुजार रहे, रात गुजार रहे, हमारे साथ ऐसा हुआ, इतनी बेचैनी किया हमारे साथ, इतनी हमारे साथ बेकदरी की करके हमारा वो 8 दिन उसको बंद रखा अंदर, क्या पता उसको पानी भी दिया, किसी ने खाना भी दिया। 8 साल की बच्ची, उसने क्या नुकसान किया उसके साथ क्या था, वो क्या मार रही थी उसका, जिन्होंने वो बंद रख के मारे उसको, तो उसकी तो नहीं माँ ही थी नहीं बाप था जिसने वो मारा है। हम तो बोलते हैं जैसे वो मार दिया ऐसे उसको भी मार दे, जैसी डेड बॉडी उसकी आई ऐसी उसकी भी देखना थी हमने, और हमारे किसी ने किया ही नहीं आज तक, तो उनको कोई महसूस हुआ ही नहीं। वो उधर से हमको धमकी दे रहे हैं जी, यहाँ से निकल जाओ, यहाँ से बाहर हो जाओ।
ये कौन धमकी दे रहा है आपको?
जिन्होंने वो मार दिया।
ये क्या दुश्मनी थी आपकी उस बच्ची की?
पता नहीं है, इससे अगर हमने कोई दुश्मनी नहीं देखी, इससे पहले तो हम बोलते थे जैसे ये लोग ऐसा था, हमारा भी कोई नहीं था, जैसे ये बच्चियों के साथ करते थे, प्यार करते थे, मेहर मोहब्बत करते थे, तो अभी तक इतना जुल्म करके वो मारा है, फांसी दे के मारा, पता नहीं उसको करंट लगाया, पता नहीं उसको जहर दिया, क्या किया क्या नहीं किया।
आपको कब पता चला है ये, जब 7 दिन के बाद कब पता चला?
उसी वक्त हमको पता चल गया, जब डेड बॉडी हमको नजर आ गया, उसी वक्त उसको पता चल गया ये इस मंदिर में रखा हुआ। फिर किसी ने बोला ये जो डमरू वाला होता है वो बनाया हुआ है कोठा, उसमें रखा हुआ है, क्या पता किधर रखा है किधर नहीं रखा। वो बोलते हैं जिधर कुत्ता बांध कर रहा है वो उधर रखा है, किसी ने बोला हमको। क्या करेंगे, हमारे तो अंदर आग जलती है। हम तो जैसे वो गुम हुई है ऐसे उससे पीछे हमको कोई पता नहीं है रात क्या है दिन क्या है। इतना अफसोस हमको लग रहा है।
One can very well understand the kind of a trauma the family member must be going through, because she was too young to even understand what actually Hinduism, Islam or Sikhism or any other religion means. But when these people feel terrified, they feel quite agitated, they feel quite angry. When some people try to stoke communal passion, they are trying to in fact politicize and communalize whole atmosphere. They feel that the justice for them is exemplary punishment for all those culprits who are responsible for this unpardonable crime.
Well, that was heart-wrenching really to hear from the victim's family, the family of that 8-year-old child, telling us that they've been threatened, that they don't know for the 8 days that she was being held unlawfully, was she even given a sip of water? How did they treat her? Why did they have to kill somebody so young, so innocent? One of the family members said she didn't know the difference between left and right. How would she have known the difference between Hindu and Muslim? And why did she have to pay for our differences? Joining me on the phone line, Mr. Shyam Benegal, noted film director. Mr. Benegal, thank you so much for joining us on the phone line here on Mirror Now. It is a terrible day in India when we've lost an innocent girl to the differences between Hindu and Muslim, and those differences keep us from delivering justice to her family.
Well, it's pure horror. All I can say is that I reacted with pure horror, because I cannot believe that we seem to have taken such a backward leap in time, and suddenly in the name of religion, something that is so impossible to understand. You know, what has happened? What kind of instinct is this? It's very difficult for me to even think why something like this should happen in the first place. You know, how can people be so completely, horrifyingly inhuman? How is that possible? You know, and you suddenly say, what is wrong with us? Something, collectively you feel there's something that's not right, and maybe in our education, maybe the way we've grown up thinking, maybe the kind of training we get, the kind of beliefs we accumulate. We pride ourselves on being the oldest civilization in the world, all this kind of thing. But suddenly you have these horrors. I mean, unspeakable horrors. I don't know how can you even react, because you're just stunned by it all.
Absolutely, Mr. Benegal. In fact, joining us also on the phone line is Kuldeep Khodda, the former DGP of Jammu and Kashmir. Mr. Khodda, just like Mr. Benegal was telling us, it's difficult to imagine what might have been going through the mind, what sort of beastly ideas drive someone to do something like this. But the thing that I find even more shocking, Mr. Khodda, is that there were police officers who were part of the conspiracy to begin with. The plan to kidnap and rape an 8-year-old child, there were police officers who were part of that plan. And then after that, the investigation was botched up deliberately. Do you find this disappointing?
No, this is a very horrific crime, and it exactly shows the mentality and the sick mentality, rather, of the accused persons who are involved in this. And 2 SPOs were involved in it, as has been revealed during the investigation in the conspiracy. And there were 2 more policemen involved in trying to conceal the evidence or destroy the evidence. But the crime branch has done a great job under the SSP and overall under the supervision of the DGP. And they have been able to unearth the entire thing. And the evidence which has been brought forward is also clinching the evidence. I'm sure that the justice will be delivered in this case, and the law is very clear on this. Of course, the way it was tried to be covered up by the 2 policemen, local policemen at Kathua, that is unpardonable. The policemen are there to protect the lives of people. The people look up to the policemen to save them from crime. And the policeman should not be a part of the crime. That is horrific, and exemplary punishment needs to be given to them. not only by the court, but by the department also.
And Mr. Gora, I want to ask you about the Bar Association in Jammu that actually prevented the police from doing their job, that were protesting against the investigators and the investigation, using even at some points Bharat Mata Ki Jai and the Tiranga. What is your reaction to that protest?
So they have, after the initial watch-up and after some Hindu friend tried to get into it, the bar also jumped into it. And seeing the overall reaction from the entire nation, they are trying to distance themselves from it, and they have tried to link other issues now regarding their agitation. But that's for them to explain for what they are agitating. The basic issue is that a little girl has been raped and killed in most dastardly in a manner which is totally inhuman. And good investigation, I must say, exemplary investigation has been conducted into the case with detailed evidence, clinching evidence. And that should be something which is good. Which is good that they just have been the ends of just have been met, and the investigation has also been carried by the policemen of the J&K police. That's something which is reassuring to the people.
Absolutely, Mr. Gora, thank you so much for joining us here on Mirror Now on the phone line. Kuldeep Gora, former DGP of Jammu and Kashmir, on the phone line, telling us that the case was botched up in the beginning, and even after that, the people who protested against the investigation now trying to distance themselves because of the media glare on this particular case. I'm going to take you back to Azad Maidan in Mumbai, where that protest has grown since the last time we spoke with Richa. Richa, more people standing with you right now, more people joining into that protest.
That's right, Faye. In fact, I have with me the director and filmmaker of the film Newton, the actor of the film Newton, and he is in fact joining us right now in the protest as well. Let's talk to him and know what is he here for. Sir, you tell us, as you can see, there are so many protesters right behind me and who are showing the solidarity, anger and protest against the two rapes in Jammu and Kashmir as well as Uttar Pradesh. What are your words on this?
मैं यही कहूँगा कि अल्फाज जो हैं अब हार चुके हैं, और ये बहुत ही एक शर्मनाक बात है कि एक 8 साल की बच्ची का इतनी बेरहमी के साथ रेप हुआ, और ना सिर्फ उसके अंदर जो रेपिस्ट थे वो आम लोग थे, बल्कि उसके अंदर पुलिस के अधिकारी भी इन्वॉल्व थे। एक 17 साल की बच्ची का जो है वो वहाँ पे उन्नाव में रेप हो रहा है, और एक MLA उस पर इन्वॉल्व है, और उसका बाप जब रिपोर्ट लिखवाने जाता है तो उसको पुलिस की हिरासत में लेके मार दिया जाता है। तो ऐसा नहीं है कि बलात्कार और खून इस मुल्क में पहले नहीं होते थे, पहले भी होते थे, और जो रिच और पावरफुल थे वो उसको दबाने की कोशिश करते थे। पर इस तरह से, इस ब्लेटेंट तरीके से, इस बेशर्मी के साथ बलात्कार और रेप और मर्डर का सपोर्ट करना और उसके खिलाफ, उसके फेवर में आके पब्लिकली स्टांस लेना, दिस वाज नेवर देयर इन दिस कंट्री। और ये इसीलिए हो रहा है कि पिछले जो 3-4 साल में जो माहौल बना है, उस माहौल ने इन लोगों को इम्बोल्डन किया है, इनेबल किया है कि ये लोग आज यहाँ पहुँच गए हैं कि पब्लिकली ये इस तरह का स्टांस ले रहे हैं, और किसी की इतनी हिम्मत नहीं हो रही कि इसको कंडम करे, डिनाउंस करे। सो आई थिंक इट इज़ इम्पोर्टेंट दैट सिविल सोसाइटी, ऑर्डिनरी सिटीजन्स, आम जनता, थिंकर्स, आर्टिस्ट, जो जहाँ है, अपने ज़मीर को बचाए, मुल्क के ज़मीर को बचाए और इसके खिलाफ आवाज़ उठाए।
In fact, I have with me another activist here. Ma'am, you tell us, you have been from the very beginning in this protest. Tell us, what are your sentiments?
30 years we've been fighting for justice, and it's never been so problematic as now. It's, I really, to what extent, I don't want to go into the details. We know, talking about Asifa hurts, talking about Unnav hurts what is happening. और बहुत ऐसे हैं, बहुत अरे लोग हुए। मेरा इतना एक है that everything now seems to be a struggle. The struggle for the constitution, the struggle for freedom of expression, the struggle for freedom of the media. I think we've been hearing a lot and we know exactly a lot what is going on. So I just appeal to everybody to just come forth and protect, because if your state, if your protector is your violator, तो फिर बचा क्या है?
Sir, you are also a writer and you have been, in fact, yourself a journalist. You tell us, you are a part of this protest from the very beginning. What are you here for?
See, as a poet also, let me begin with a poetic line. کہ ظلموں کا یہ دور جو ہے ختم ہونا ہوگا. اگر ہندوستان کو ہندوستان بنے رکھنا ہے تاریخ میں تو اس طرح کے عورتوں پہ ظلم ختم کرنا پڑے گا. آپ چاہے ہندو ہو, مسلمان ہو, کرسچن ہو, عیسائی ہو, بٹ یہ ظلموں کا دور جو عورتوں پہ ہو رہا ہے یہ ہندوستان کی تاریخ کے لیے سب سے بھدتا ہے. On the other hand, if you look at as a writer, as a sociologist, I think we are more perturbed about a new rape culture here. And this rape culture is aided, assisted, and protected by the state power, which is very unfortunate. So when the patriarchy and the state power combine, the worst happens, and the worst has happened. Now you look at from the women, now they are killing and raping and maiming and destroying young little girl children. This is the most horrendous in the history of India.
Really? So as you just heard, Faye, there are people from all walks of life. There are artists, there are actors, there are in fact social organizations who have joined here in the protest here at Azad Maidan, showing their solidarity, anger as well as protest against this horrific two incidences that have in fact shook the nation at this point.
Right, Richa, stay with us. Let me go back again to Srinagar, where Fareed is standing by. Fareed, the thing that I believe that the country would need to understand at this point was the community of this girl. We saw our colleague Pradeep Datta have a conversation with the family. They seem to be a poor, horse grazing family. There were horses in the background. Explain to us where this community has come from and why on earth would anyone want to hurt a child in this manner in order to send a message? What is the history here?
Well, these are nomads, nomadic community which was there, living there from the last 30, 40 years. They have been one of the oldest inhabitants of that particular area. And nomads, as you'd be well aware, do keep moving. In fact, in winters, they stay at one place, but in summers, they take their livestock to higher lands, pastures for grazing. So this was one such family. There are some more families of nomads one of the family members was saying that they had been living there from the last many years, never ever faced any problem, and suddenly out of nowhere their daughter was raped and killed in such a brutal manner. Clearly, there seems to be, as we have been reporting, this was a very well-hatched planned conspiracy. This has not happened overnight. People have been on it. If you look at or take a glance at the crime branch report, you can clearly see how the conspiracy was hatched. Many days back, it was all planned. Now, it seems our sources in the crime branch tell us that there was an attempt to drive away this community so as large patch of land can be emptied of them, and then maybe some big sharks, some big politicians may have been behind it. So that is all a matter of investigation. It seems that this crime has been committed to send this message of terror across, terrify these people to the extent that they leave. Now that has happened. Now they have been successful because this family is on the run. They're not there. Right now was not the time that they would go out of that area or move to the higher lands. They were still 2-3 months away from that, but they have left in terror. Imagine the family.
Right. So Fareed, I must ask you this question. For the nomadic families that you just described, that this little girl belonged to, what do they have special? Are they given special rights under the laws in Jammu and Kashmir to the lands that they graze on? What is the benefit really for anyone, whether you said a rich politician or any sort of land shark? What is the benefit of removing these people from there? What are the rules under which they have access to lands that they're using, these nomads?
Well, in Kashmir or in the local revenue language, you call it ghas charai or pasture land, which is just designated for these very people for their livestock so that they get necessary grazing land. So that has been there in the revenue records for hundreds of years now. They have every right over their land, and that is something that you cannot occupy, or anyone cannot really get it in his name for construction purposes. So that part is pretty much made clear by the government. Now it seems that there was a conspiracy to drive them out because this may have been a good piece of land for someone who was eyeing it for for quite some time now. So they wanted to send this message across. They planned this heinous crime. They knew that this is going to have its effect. But look at their audacity. They thought that they'll get away with it. They did it with the sole purpose of driving them away. They have been successful to some extent. But now, since everyone is backing them, maybe they are brought back. But they have managed to send this message. So definitely there's more to it than what meets the eye. There are people behind the scene, big politicians, maybe some big land mafia which is also involved in this. So that really requires bigger canvas as far as investigation is concerned. But as of now, as we have been saying, the focus is to provide justice, and in the process, if these things also come out, it will be very important to show how people for their greed are stooping to unimaginable lows, and in this case unseen.
Yes.
But what is even more criminal is the fact that people are now protecting them. There is an organized effort backed by ministers who are there in the government, and that is something totally unpardonable, and that is something that requires immediate action, and that's why all eyes are on the BJP High Command. Back to you.
All right, Fareed, very interesting angle, educating us really about the laws on grazing lands for the nomadic families. As we have seen, there might have been a motive there to remove these nomadic families from those lands. Reports have told us that they've been here, or that community has been on that land for nearly 30 years, maybe even more. So there might be a larger land-related conspiracy there that our reporters, of course, will look into. Supriya Sule, Member of Parliament with the NCP, joins us right now on the phone line. Ms. Sule, thank you for joining us. It's a horrid week, really, for the women of India, that we have to, in fact, raise our voices one more time for simple justice.
Totally devastating and shattering to even think about what has happened in India, and unfortunately, and I really am so concerned that this whole campaign about Beti Bachao, Beti Padhao going on. I mean, I urge the citizens first, as a mother, as a daughter, as a woman, to the Honorable Prime Minister to say something on all this aggressively, to show, and this is not political, this is a social traumatizing issue, that he has to say above politics that India is going to have zero tolerance against any crime, against any woman from this moment. Just legislations are not good enough, because we've made legislation, one more legislation not going to change the game. But we all need to, above politics, walk an extra mile towards women's safety, security. And why is the government quiet on this issue is my question. It doesn't matter who, it's not about your government and our government. When it comes to these issues, we all must stand in one voice with zero tolerance against any such action, against any human being for that matter.
Absolutely. Supriya Sule, they're making a very, very clear point that women and children are equal citizens of this country and hence deserve equal treatment under the eyes of the law and law enforcement, which means that just because someone is a child or a woman or a young girl doesn't mean that they don't have equal right to the IPC and to law and order. Supriya, thank you so much for joining us on the phone line. Supriya Sule of the NCP. Rahul Gandhi has also echoed the same sentiment in his tweet that has just come out. This is the Congress President. Rahul Gandhi has put out a tweet just now saying, Mr. Prime Minister, your silence is unacceptable. What do you think about the growing violence against women and children? Why are the accused rapists and murderers being protected by the state? India is waiting, end quote. That's a tweet that's just come out from Congress President Rahul Gandhi on his Twitter handle. In fact, joining me on the phone line right now, Priyanka Chaturvedi of the Congress Party. She's a spokesperson. Ms. Chaturvedi, thank you for joining us. We saw, of course, the president of the Congress Party lead a candlelight vigil to India Gate yesterday, and of course put out this tweet right now. Is this the demand of a response from the Prime Minister on the issue?
Absolutely. I think the Prime Minister, who was extremely vocal during 2014, and more than being vocal, it was his commitment to the women voters of this country that after he's voted into power, he would ensure that women empowerment, women's safety would be a top priority. But however, we are seeing only an increasing rate of crime against women, and we are seeing a government which is not just silent, but is also, with their silence, emboldening such crimes. And forget that. What is extremely heartbreaking for me, and it also, as a woman, scares me, is that we have people who are in power, in the positions of power, who are being protected by the entire state machinery just by the virtue of them being affiliated to a political organization which enjoys power in those states. So that is what I think should be everyone's concern, and that is what we are focusing on. That more than the politics behind it, it should be more about ensuring that India's daughters feel safe and get an environment which they truly deserve, an environment of equal opportunities, safety, and equal access.
Absolutely, equal access, and that's the call right now coming in from across the country. Priyanka Chaturvedi, many thanks for joining us. We've also seen protests now erupt in Azad Maidan in Mumbai. We understand that at 6 p.m. this evening there will be a similar sort of agitation that will take place in Bangalore. And perhaps along with the one that we saw happen in Delhi last night, led by Rahul Gandhi, there might be other members of the civic community who decide to go out and protest. Let me take you back to Apurva, my colleague, who's standing by in Unnao, where she's been tracking the progress in the case. Apurva, we saw a change happen today where the Chief Minister of Uttar Pradesh actually was forced finally to break his silence and make a comment. It wasn't a very convincing comment, though. It was still a little wishy-washy. But can you take us through what's happening really in Uttar Pradesh, specifically in Unnao with the investigation?
Well, at this point, there was a 10-member CBI team that had left in the morning at around 9:30, reached Unnao, and they were there till now. Now, they're still there. They've met with the family members. They're still upstairs in that hotel room. Remember, it was the same hotel room where the entire family members, along with the victim, the family members and the witness, all of them are there at the hotel at this point with adequate security. And the SI and the CBI team there continues to be there, questioning them, taking their statement as well at this given point in time. Even at this point in time, we are hearing how the statements are being taken in Unnao. At the same time, here as well, it's been over 10 hours outside the CBI headquarters here in Lucknow, where the questioning of the BJP MLA at this point is continuing. So on both accounts, there is no clear clarity on what is really happening. More importantly, we have heard how the family members since yesterday have been reiterating how there is an imminent need for the BJP MLA to be arrested. Even after the CBI has taken over the case, when we spoke to the family members on their reaction over the development, they felt that it is a partial justice. There is, of course, a ray of hope because finally the CBI swung into action, and the first thing they did was to detain the BJP MLA. But that is not enough, is what the family says. They want the BJP MLA to be arrested because they fear for their lives. And this is the same thing they've also been telling the CBI officials as well. So right now, as we speak, there are CBI officials who are there at Unnao, at that very hotel where the family members are there, and the questioning is still continuing in Unnao.
All right, Apurva, many thanks for bringing us that update. Apurva at Lucknow CBI headquarters, I understand. Fareed in Srinagar, Richa in Mumbai, many thanks for giving us updates from across the country. Our reporters there standing by on Mirror Now. We're going to continue to track this particular development, and for our viewers who are watching at home, feeling the same kind of angst and helplessness and anger that most of the people across the country are feeling. Feel free to pick up the phone and call us. Let us know how you're feeling, simply because your voice at this point is the strongest thing that you can give to these families. Your silence perhaps would hurt more than anything else. We're here as a platform for your voices. Call us on the phone line that's at the bottom of your screen, and through the course of the day, from now till 11 p.m. tonight, we will put your voices on air so that the collective voice will reach the highest offices of this country and justice will in fact be delivered. Stay with Mirror Now for more news and updates.